Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here with us today because, honestly, we are going on such an incredible journey. We're going to see exactly how traditional, centuries-old industries are transforming, literally right before our eyes, into these digitally empowered, sustainable powerhouses. It's a complete restructuring of the global economy, and it is just fascinating. Okay, let's dive right into this. Consider this little riddle. What do your bank, the food on your plate, and a satellite orbiting in space actually have in common? I mean, on the surface, they seem completely disconnected, right? One's in your wallet, one's in your kitchen, and one is floating hundreds of miles above the Earth. But by the end of this explainer, you are going to see just how deeply interconnected they truly are. But before we map all of that out, I have to share this unbelievably fun and honestly kind of mind-blowing fact. MIT researchers literally trained spinach plants to detect soil abnormalities. Specifically, they were looking for chemical compounds found in explosives. And when the plants found them, they sent emails to the lab. Yeah, you heard that right, spinach sending emails. They used the biological agents of the plant, combined them with carbon nanotubes that emit a signal to an infrared camera, and boom, you've got mail. It's such a delightful example of how the biological and digital worlds are already colliding in ways we never even thought possible. And that collision, that is exactly what brings us to the core concept of today's explainer, xTech. So what is it? It's essentially the collision of traditional industries with digital enablers, things like AI, blockchain, and the Internet of Things, to create entirely new, sustainable, and circular business models. It's a real game changer. Think of this as our shared vocabulary for today, as we take a quick 3-stop tour through some of the most vital industries on the planet. All right, let's make stop 1, FinTech. We're going to look at funding the green shift, starting right down at the micro level. Just look at this staggering number, 1.7 billion. That is the estimated number of unbanked people globally. We're talking over 30% of the world's population operating completely outside the formal economy. If we are ever going to build a sustainable, circular economy, we absolutely have to solve this massive problem. We need financial inclusion. And well, that is exactly where FinTech steps in to save the day. Now, what's really interesting about this is the stark contrast happening right now. Traditional banking is highly centralized, right? And it often fuels this linear path of consumption. But FinTech? It uses decentralized technology to actually fund green circular systems. For example, look at a platform like Sun Exchange. They're using blockchain to crowd-sell solar assets in sub-Saharan Africa. This totally bypasses those massive upfront infrastructure costs and lets literally anyone fund renewable energy. Or think about Twig. They act as a bank of things, letting users easily resell and circulate used items straight from their accounts. I mean, it's brilliant. So, okay, we've seen how FinTech is fixing the funding side and driving financial inclusion. But how do we actually feed the world sustainably? Funding is just step 1. We need to transition our focus from the digital wallet down into the actual physical earth. And that brings us perfectly to stop 2, AgriTech. We are going to explore farming with data. Honestly, no company represents this transformation better than John Deere. Today, they are a colossal, data-driven AgriTech giant. It's not just tractors anymore. It works like a giant puzzle. Step 1, drones capture high-resolution crop imagery right from the sky. Step 2, Internet of Things sensors gather super precise soil data from the ground. Step 3, real-time analytics process all that data to trigger incredibly precise fertilizer application. And this brilliantly illustrates how combining these technologies creates a closed-loop system. It optimizes yields and pretty much completely eliminates unnecessary chemical waste. It is precision agriculture at its absolute finest. But AgriTech goes way beyond just the cool machinery. By utilizing all this real-time data, it acts as a massive catalyst that positively impacts the socioeconomics of rural agrarian communities. It gets them access to financial services, it safeguards their savings, it enables smart crop insurance, and it delivers the reliable data needed to comply with international food safety and traceability standards, the whole shebang. All right, so we've optimized the ground, we've empowered the farmers, and we've funded the shift. Awesome. But now, how do we protect all of this from above? It's time for our macro transition. We are zooming way out from our regional fields and looking up into orbit. Welcome to Stop 3, SpaceTech and ClimateTech. This is where we use Earth observation to actively start predicting our climate. Let's look at some real-world applications of this data, using an amazing company called Tomorrow.io as our guide. By converging satellite imagery, drones, and big data, They deliver incredibly dynamic solutions. Just look at some of these. Predictive weather routing to slash emissions for massive transport fleets. De-risking global supply chains by actually predicting extreme weather before it hits. Building resilient urban infrastructure. And optimizing emergency response to protect highly populated, risk-prone areas. It's literally saving lives and resources. And the crazy part, this reliance on space tech data is so incredibly far-reaching. It touches massive global industries. We're talking aviation, automotive, energy, mobility, and agriculture. Industry heavyweights like Ford, Delta, and National Grid, they all absolutely depend on this interconnected space data to reduce their energy consumption, prevent waste, and operate sustainably. They couldn't do it without it. So let's bring our journey back down to Earth for the synthesis. Let's look closely at the circular economy advantage. The absolutely crucial point here is everything as a service, or XaaS. xTech is what makes these models possible. Think about it. Instead of buying and owning physical products, which inevitably leads to massive waste and heavy resource consumption, consumers and businesses are simply accessing performance and results. John Deere doesn't just sell you a tractor, they sell you analytics and insight as a service. Tomorrow.io sells predictive weather data as a service. It takes the heavy burden of ownership completely off the consumer and lets the experts manage the resources efficiently and circularly. I want to read this quote to you because it just perfectly hits the nail on the head for this whole explainer. Circulation can hardly be envisaged in isolation. The importance of implementing cooperative networks is one of the fundamentals of a circular economy. That is it, right there. It is all about multi-stakeholder ecosystems. FinTech funding AgriTech, AgriTech relying on SpaceTech, all of it connected by digital enablers. This cooperative network is the true key to unlocking sustainable competitiveness for our future. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. Are you ready to adapt to the xTech revolution? The collision of the digital, physical, and biological worlds isn't just some distant sci-fi future. It is happening right now. From spinach sending emails all the way up to satellites predicting our supply chains. I really hope this explainer has sparked your curiosity and left you hungry to learn more about how we can build a truly circular world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. And hey, keep exploring.